All right, welcome back, guys. So taking a little time just to reflect on Carnival 2019. So we jumped out of the kitchen with all the pots and pans, and I have invited Sterling Henderson to join me, I-95.5's very own, the 2019 Calypso Monarch. Let me just add that, of the I-95.5 stand-up tent. I had the privilege of judging that competition once again.
Thank you very much, Joel.
And people say that because we're partners,
I mean,
I was hearing that rewarding
the taste of the pudding is in the eating, and anyone who wants to look at the footage and come up with a different result, they're welcome to do so. But as far as I'm concerned, the judge's decision is final. Yes?
The judge's decision is final. Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It felt good to win.
Yeah. And back to back as well.
Back to back.
Back to
so
back.
We're going for the hat trick.
You're going for the hat trick next year. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
All right, so Sterling is here because we just wanted, I think I engaged Sterling's, to pick Sterling's mind as we look back at Carnival 2019. So much talking points, so much bacchanalia, and I think a lot to just dissect a bit. So we're going to take the next few minutes to do that this morning. Just before I do that, I want to play a song bite from Kes Defentala when he appeared on the show. This topic, Sterling, I think, seeming to getting some traction after Carnival.
Yes.
And it really has to do with what Kes describes as the road march versus the stage march. Take a listen.
The road march, the song of the carnivals, and it mightn't even be a power song. Like, to me, we need to evolve with the evolution of Carnival, and the rules and the settings need to evolve with it. So the fact is, there's technology to test to see what songs play in general.
Right.
If every truck registers to this one entity, maybe the NTC, and you click, their clicks basically signature. If you play a track, it's going to register on a main frame. So you can tell what song actually played the most on the road in any way. Stage, road, anything.
Yeah. We have the technology for
exactly.
that.
And then let that song be the song of the carnival.
Right.
And then let the stage march where people want it across that stage too, and pump and explode and do that.
If it's the same song, it's the same song.
And if it's the same song, it's the same song.
Yeah.
So my thing is just to free that up a little bit and let we get real with it again.
So Kes, in a nutshell, and I just want to put on record, right? Because I think we put that out on social media, and people were saying sour grapes. But just in fairness, I think Kes, that on Cup of Joe for sure was done before Carnival weekend. So he was pitching that idea of the road march versus what people want to cross the stage to. I said it has kind of rallied on after the Carnival season. Savannah Grass was a classic song, but family is what people wanted to cross the stage to. That is the road march 2019.
It is.
Yeah.
And I understand Cass's point in terms of alternatives to the current judging system, and that there may be a level of unfairness in the perception, but I don't know that any system is beyond manipulation. I think much like the March Gras that has worked in my mind as Kings and Queens and Calypso Monarch, Road March works best when judged at the judging points. The fact that Marshall has a hegemony in terms of not just the Road March, I mean, having tied Super Blue this year, with more career still to go and seemingly a formula. And to me, that's more important. As people, why can't we change? Why can't we have a year when, again, a stranger by shadow could capture the nation's imagination and be that thing we all want to be? I heard even Peter Minshall lamenting what has become of soca and how wearisome it is in terms of its idea that excitement is only created through tempo. There are ideas that there's release and tension. And we're still talking about Savannah Grass because Savannah Grass was a song that was very competitive in that regard. But in the same way that I think a Desperados is competitive with the All Stars, two very different styles, but still of equal merit in terms of what they offer.
Because I thought, when I heard Kes's point, as a masquerade over the years, I could have identified what he was saying. There were quite a few number of years that I can pinpoint that the song that did well on the road was very much different to the song that you wanted to cross the stage to. And I suppose when the road march, as we know it, is now all of a sudden being called the stage march. It's not the song that you want to hear on the road and relax on the road and free up on the road and enjoy on the road. So I think that's what probably Peter Minshall was referring to when he talked about the release and the tension, that Savannah Grass kind of took you on the road, Haunted by Marshall. I remember that song, that's all people wanted to hear on the road.
Yes.
Marshall beat himself that year with, I think, Ministry of Road, if I'm not mistaken. But is it real now to have a discussion where we're talking about changing? We're changing everything else, which we'll get to in a bit. We're changing everything else. We're saying everything else is evolving.
Yes.
Do we reach the point where we said, okay, so the road march is no longer just for the stage, but for the road, and find a way to...
But, I mean, who decided that it's not working? This year we saw you talk about changes. Now we have Band of the Year large, Band of the Year medium.
The overall Band of the Year winner.
Now I heard the suggestion that Band of the Year should be able to be won in San Fernando as well as in Scarborough.
Evolution happens crazy.
So, and I mean, they say change is good, but too much of it weighs down your pockets. And where do we stop and say, well, no, the fact that Trinidad Carnival has survived so long is because we in fact do know what we're doing. And not that we need to change everything.
Yeah.
I missed the North Stand. I will continue to miss the North Stand.
Yeah.
I missed the Dimash Graph formula. I will continue to miss it. So I hear the need for skepticism regarding the Road March race, but I don't know that anyone's really in a position to come up with a better idea than the one that is right now, despite how they may have been treated in the competition. And if you talk about the experience of the masquerader in relation to music on the road as opposed to the stage, but do you then want to recapture that moment on the road on the stage? Or do you, when you cross the stage, want something else?
A different energy, yeah.
A
different kind of energy.
And if that song was to be the one in rotation all the time, how would that affect your experience?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are pros and cons to both sides of it. I'm not saying that it's sour grapes on the part of Kes, but I am saying that he has a point in terms of people questioning the road march has long been, or is the Soca Mafia controlling it? And then somebody said the other day it should be the fraternity controlling it. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between the fraternity and the mafia, and which is which? But this is Trinidad and Tobago, and there is a lot of talk usually around all sorts of things. Marshall has won a fair share of road marches. Who's to say that he actually didn't deserve it again, along with Bungie and the Skinny Fabulous?
Congratulations to family. But I think that was a historic moment in the carnival, which we probably will get to in a little bit as well. But Fantastic Friday, we discussed it before. During the season. It's back. Is it?
It is. I think it is back, and I think it's back with a new mandate, especially that the international part of it has now been recognized. This kind of excites people, I would think, throughout the Caribbean to think that they can come here in the greatest show on earth and capture one of the most prestigious titles. I think that signals well for the future of the competition in terms of its regional appeal and growth.
Fans turn back out to the venue as well. I think, I don't know if any numbers, I think you were saying before Carnival, I don't know if any numbers that we saw it back in the days of when Super Blue and Ronnie Mac, but no, we saw fans at least interested in wanting to go back.
And it was a sense of an event, it had some sense of an event, which Soca Monarch warrants in my mind. It's the penultimate Friday. It's the last Friday before Carnival. It's Fantastic Friday, and it needs to be that.
Congratulations to Fair Lions and her team. I think they brought some good things to the table.
And not only that, but they showed how powerful the brand is, because after the semi-finals and that performance by Mr. Killer, where people, Sergeant Meister had to address people picking up stuff and running with it. You know what I mean? So it obviously is onto something if it can choose a song that has that sort of effect on the nation. The power of soca.
Let me ask you a question. You spoke about the Caribbean influence that we had and now, as I said, people from all around the islands could now feel that we could come to the hub of the carnival, which is Trinidad and Tobago, and win this thing. The Caribbean influence on the competition bothered you a bit at all?
Not bothered, but gave me cause for thought. In that, you see, there are different approaches I feel you can take to culture, and one of them is protectionism. So when we look at a place like France that says, okay, even if you are growing grapes in another region of France that is not the Champenoise region, you cannot call it champagne. Correct?
Correct.
French police their language. You cannot make up a French word just like that. It has to go through the academy. So the French protect their culture. Rhythmically in Trinidad and Tobago, we're seeing increasingly the jab-jab rhythm. We're seeing increasingly the influence of the Vincentian rhythm and other rhythms. Should we be concerned that Trinidad-style soca is dying? Should we? I don't know. Or should we be happy that soca is growing and that this is a sign of its growth? But we are caught in between as a people because, you know, while we are pro-CSME on policy, we actually don't have a history of treating people who come here well. You know what I mean? Venezuelans, for example, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, so I think it's more, for me, it's not so much that it bothers me, but it's just something to think about.
But do you think the fraternity, the soca fraternity, looking at it that way? Because I mean, I'm hearing Fian, Bungie, and they like almost saying, hey, we're welcoming the Caribbean into what we do. We were comfortable in crowning the first non-Trinbagonian to one of our major titles, and possibly two if you want to go that far with Road March.
And then look at Farmer Nappy and Nadia Batson, produced by the Red Boys out of Barbados.
So you think we're losing grip on what we do, on what we own?
I wouldn't say so. I think there are enough examples of us holding on to a local sense of things. I mean, we have a whole bunch of other artists that are not necessarily doing the other island sounds, you know.
One of the other things I just got a little concerned about as well, and I've had that problem with Soca Monarch once the big guns, as we probably consider them here, started pulling out of the competition. So it's all well and good to say that it's international and the whole Caribbean is participating in the Soca Monarch. And Mr. Killer, fantastic, he stole the carnival in the last few weeks, won. But he will go away with the title of the Soca Monarch for 2019. I don't know if our big guns were in the competition. If a Mr. Killer.
Iowa was in the competition?
No, still all right,
I
was in the competition.
You know, what a blessings. Like it or not, it was one of the more significant hits of the season. You know, I don't want to start calling names, but if we were to just talk about what's happened in the last, say, 10 years, there's a new vanguard of soca.
Fair
you know, and I think we can look at people like Swappy, who was still in the competition as part of that. We can look at people like Farmer Nappy, who was still in the competition. Was he in the competition in the Groovy?
Swappy?
No, Farmer Nappy.
Farmer Nappy.
No, but Swappy was in there. Ufanaus was in there. In terms of the new school, there were some new names as well. But I still think in terms of the generation after the Denise Balfours and the Sherwin Winchesters and the Destra Garcias, there's still some talent in there that has a ways to go. And perhaps Soca Monarch could be that vehicle to get them there, as it was for those artists in that time.
All right. So you're comfortable with the fact that we have...
I am, yes.
We have to take a break. Sterling Henderson will join me back tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have other things to do on the show today. So Sterling Henderson will join me back tomorrow when we will continue our carnival chat here at a Cup of Joe. We're just doing a wrap up. And Sterling has graciously joined me to wrap things up, to finalize some discussions that would have existed and bubbled throughout the carnival season. So thank you very much, Mr. Henderson. He'll be back tomorrow, guys, when we wrap things up with our carnival chat here on a Cup of Joe. Come on back, we have some more fun to come here in the Cup of Joe kitchen.